There we go. We live. Can you see me? We had a little bit of trouble getting everything started, so I'm hoping that everything is working fine. If you could in the chat, let me know if you can see me and hear me. Let me just double check my notes for my chat. There we go. All right. Well, let's hope this is working properly. Thank you guys for showing up. As you may know, Leslie is on the road this week, so she's having me fill in for her, which really worked out fine because last week when we did our chat about growing your team, we had a ton of people who were in the chat. We had a lot of comments. Like it was a lot of people. So that's why we decided to go ahead and do a Q&A. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I will be able to check them as we go. Let's see. So in the meantime, I do have a few things prepared for you guys. So first of all, the main comments or the main questions were, where do you find people? How do you find the time to train them? And what do you do about HIPAA and privacy laws? Okay, so we're going to kind of cover all three of those, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. So let's start at the top with, excuse me, with before you even hire anybody, you have to be super clear on exactly what you're hiring for. Like, what do you need help with? Like, exactly what do you need? If you're not sure, a really good place to start is what you put off all the time. The things that keep you busy, but not necessarily productive. And that's usually stuff like, social media content or checking your emails or filing things away, correspondence. That's super easy to find someone to help you with that. Things that are outside of your zone of genius. So if you're spending, 8 hours creating a landing page for your newest giveaway or freebie, there's somebody else who can do that in like an hour and a half. So that's kind of outside your zone of genius, things that are just not in your wheelhouse. So if you're like not a numbers person, you might want to hire someone to manage your books. And the last one is things that somebody could do better or faster. Now, personally, I'm mainly graphic design and web design. And a lot of times I come in and I see, like, when someone hires me, they've tried to do it themselves and it's just a big old mess. Like, if they would have just hired somebody else in the beginning, it would have saved them a ton of time and a ton of money. So, next thing that you want to consider is what type of characteristics are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for in the person that you hire? You want to, at least you need to find somebody that's going to be like your yin to your yang. So if you're super, super organized, you might need to find someone who's a little more creative. If you're kind of all over the place, you might need to find somebody who's very focused and methodical. So are you looking for somebody who's super methodical? Or are you looking for someone with like a lot of like really good people skills, like someone to be client facing? Are you looking for somebody that can just roll with the punches and get things done? Like when it gets like chaotic, which often happens with launches, that you're shifting gears a lot. So really be clear on, first of all, what you're hiring for, and second of all, what type of person, like what personality type you're looking for. And of course, especially when you're hiring virtually, which is what we're going to talk about today, you want someone who is self-motivated, that you don't have to micromanage them. You want somebody who's trustworthy. They will have your logins to like your website, sometimes even your PayPal or your Stripe, your emails. Like they're going to get all up in your business. So who you want to make sure you can trust them. And you want to look for someone who actually has the skills, because there's a lot of people out there who call themselves an SEO expert or call themselves a web designer whenever they're not quite ready yet. So make sure they can actually do that. So that's all what you're looking for, right? So then you have to think about, where do you find them? Now, I love, love, love. Yes, Amy, I'm going to add that to my questions. I love, love, love Facebook groups. Okay. Now, Amy just asked a really good question, which is, can we request a background check? It really just depends. Like if you've got somebody who's going to be like in your patient records, then probably so, yes. If you've got somebody who's just designing your website, like that would be really, in my opinion, that'd be weird on my end. I've been doing this since 2015. I have never had anybody request a background check. However, it is not uncommon for people to ask me for my social media profiles. They want to see what I'm all about. Like they might even send me a friend request on Facebook so they can see like what kind of person I am, what am I doing whenever I'm not behind my desk. They want to see my Instagram, like what kind of pictures am I taking. You can get a really good idea of who a person is by doing that. But if it comes to your financials, like a bookkeeper, somebody who's dealing with patient records, then I would think that would be pretty normal. But in the general scope of things, social media, video editing, websites, that sort of thing, probably not a background check. Now, I do love, love, love Facebook groups for hiring people. Now, as a service provider, I am in all of the groups I'm going to recommend today, and I do have something for you guys I'm going to share with you at the end with a whole list of all of my favorite Facebook groups, like all of them, okay, and divided by category, like SEO, website design, general virtual assistant, etc., like bloggers, all of it. I love Facebook groups. So when you're in a Facebook group that you're looking to hire somebody, the I wouldn't recommend actually posting a job posting. I would recommend posting a post saying that you're looking for recommendations, okay? And see who recommends who. And if you do this, you'll notice like the same people get recommended over and over again, and that's kind of who you're looking for, okay? The people that are in that community that the rest of the community loves and trusts, okay? Another way that you can do it, so if you're looking for hiring, say, a copywriter, you might go into a web design group or a graphic design group and say, hey, do y'all know any copywriters that you could recommend to me? Okay. If you're looking for someone to run your Facebook ads, you might go into a group that's dedicated to like ClickFunnels or lead pages, because those people who are doing online funnels, they know really good Facebook ad strategists. So you kind of cross reference, if that makes sense. Like birds of a feather kind of flock together, and it's a whole online community of service providers like myself. And copywriters know designers, and designers know copywriters, and funnel builders know ad specialists, and people who are all about content, they're going to know like social media managers. So you can kind of ask in compatible groups, if that makes sense. Now, once you have found your person, like somebody that you're interested in, they have responded or they've been recommended, go and check them out. Like check out all of their stuff, like find out who they are before you ever reach out, because you don't want to click on their profile and see something that's like just a huge red flag for you. Like maybe somebody's doing drugs, or they're just not the kind of person that you want on your team. Then you haven't wasted your time. But once you have found the person and you're interested and you want to hire them, what you want to do is give them a test project. So just come to an agreement on a price. I want to say, like, let's just say you're looking for a social media manager. You might ask them, or a social media content person, like a strategist. You might ask them for like a month's worth of social media posts for a test project. Or if you're looking for someone to help you with web design, you might ask them for a test project just for a landing page. If you're looking for like a graphic designer, you might ask for some Canva templates for your social media. If you're looking for a video editor, ask them to edit like 3 or 4 videos. Whatever it is, give them a test project. In the freelance world, that is very normal. It's kind of expected, because we don't, like, on our end, we don't even know if we want to work with you. So we like to have a test project to kind of test the waters both ways, just to see if our communication styles are the same, if you like our work, if we enjoy the work, we enjoy the project. It's part of like our core values. Most of the people I work with are in kind of the alternative health and wellness space, which I'm all about. So yes, Eileen, you are definitely going to pay them for the test project. You want to agree on a price. And in general, the price for a test project is the same as what you would pay if you were just hiring them already. Like I'm not going to, and most people who are good are not going to drop their rates for a test project. I would actually probably lean the other way and charge a little bit more, because it's the first time I've worked with you. I want to research you, find out what you're all about, make sure that I'm on brand, on message, on whatever. So it's a little more work up front for us. However, just expect to pay whatever their normal rates are. Some people do offer like a discount. So if you, for example, are looking to hire somebody and they, you do a test project, then they might include that fee for the test project in their monthly fee, if that makes sense. Like, if you, say you want some graphic design and you're like, hey, can you just do some Canva templates so we can make sure that we're a good fit? Say, yeah, not a problem. That'll be $50. But if you go ahead, if you like my work and you hire me on retainer, then that will just be part of this month's retainer. If that makes sense. Okay. And again, I have a comprehensive list of a lot of Facebook groups to share with you at the end here. All right, so the next part is training your person. So training is one of those chicken and the eggs. Like once you're like ready to hire somebody, then a lot of times you find that you don't feel like you have the time to train them, and that's normal. And a service provider who's been doing whatever they do for a while, they understand that. So in general, when I work with someone, the first 4 to 6 weeks is the learning curve for both of us. We kind of feel each other out. I have to figure out like what they want and learn kind of how to read their mind, and then vice versa. So that's completely normal. If you're training for something that's very specific, like your SOPs, like this is how, like client onboarding, this is how it works. You can record yourself doing it yourself, and then have a virtual assistant transcribe it and put it in a 1, 2, 3 order, and then the video that goes along with it. If you're training somebody one-on-one, you can record that, and that becomes training for anybody else that you hire in the future. So if you're kind of stuck on like, I just don't know if I have the time to teach somebody to do this, I'm already doing it myself. If you're already doing it, then just have them watch you, and you're going to pay them to learn, just the same as if you're hiring somebody to work in your brick and mortar building. They're going to get paid for training. Like they have to go through training for a couple of weeks, and they're going to shadow somebody. So on a virtual setting, they're going to shadow you or whoever they're going to be working underneath and watching them do it. And then the best thing to do is just record it. So that way you don't have to do that again. It's recorded. You can send whoever else you're hiring to that video and let them just watch it. Let's see, what is next? Still on training. So I believe that it really takes 90 days to get somebody completely trained, and also for them to kind of show what they're made of. A lot of people, when you first hire them, they're excited, they go all out, they've been over backwards, but then you find out like a month or two down the road that they're like not showing up for meetings, or they're late, or they're rude, or whatever. That just happens. Like that's just normal. And hiring and firing people. Give it 90 days. For better or for worse. Like if you hired somebody in the first 2 weeks, you're like, oh my God, this person's amazing. Give it 90 days. If you hired somebody, you're like, God, I just don't know if they're going to get it. Like they're kind of slow. Give it 90 days. Like you have to there's a learning curve, and it also gives the person a chance to get their feet underneath them, to get to know you. And 90 days, I feel like, is long enough. Like if they're crapping out on you, you'll figure that out in the first 90 days. And then if you've hired them at an introductory rate, maybe you're hiring them at, you're going to pay them 25 an hour, but they're getting paid 20 an hour for training. That after that 90 days is when you increase that. Okay. And the next thing on the training front is once you have shown somebody how to do something, back off and just let them, they're going to mess it up, but let them mess it up. Like let them figure it out. Let them go. Don't micromanage. Whatever it is, whenever you had to learn how to do it, you messed up too. So give them a little grace, and understand that they're learning, they're people, and give them a little grace to try to figure it out. Like if you give them room and you trust them that they're going to do their best, and of course they're the right person, then you're going to get long-term success and happiness with that team member. Okay. All right. Next thing on my list is keep your people. So whenever you have taken all the time to train your person, find your person, train your person, hire them, the whole 9 yards, don't drop the ball on your end and take them for granted. Okay, keep your people. When I worked in corporate, I was a manager of a business. We had 80 people that I was directly in charge of. And that was just one of my mantras, like keep your people, because it took so much to find the right person, to train them, hire them, the whole thing, and get them all situated, get them comfortable. Why would I lose them? And in a bigger organization, um, it wasn't uncommon for, say, like the receptionist to be rude to one of the back office people, and I would have to talk to the receptionist, like, no, let's no, like we're not going to have that kind of attitude around here. We have to keep our people. Same thing goes for you. If you have found somebody that you just love working with and they love working with you, go out of your way to like appreciate them. Send them a birthday present. Like Leslie sent me a birthday present and it's like really made my day. Like I love my birthday present. Okay. Just let them know that you care. Check in on them like as a person. If their child is sick or their dog had to go to the vet or whatever's going on in their life, ask them like, hey, how's little Billy doing? Or how's Fido? Like care about them as a person. And I know that this is just common sense, but sometimes we forget, especially in the hustle of our business and trying to get things done. Sometimes we forget that like they're people and they want to feel important. They want to feel like what they do matters. Okay. They don't just want to get a paycheck. And if they do, they're not the right person. Like the right kind of person doesn't just want a paycheck. They want to be part of the team. They want to know that you care. So, speaking of being part of the team, have regular meetings, have one on one meetings with you and each person. And if you have a larger team, have team meetings so that everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows that, like what the goal is and what you're doing as a company, like where you're going and what's going on. You want to give them increasingly challenging, is that's it right? Increasing challenging tasks, meaning you don't want what they do to get boring and old. Like once they have got comfortable where they are, bump them up a notch, like give them harder things to do, pay them more, I guess, depending on what it is. And then you can hire somebody else to be their junior, right? Because then you're growing. If they're able to take on more and more and more of your day to day busy work, that's going to free you up to find more clients, to find more people to work with, to launch these programs, to really like be there for your audience, for your people, and then your business is going to grow and you're going to need more people. So like bump them up a level, give them more and more challenging things to do. Obviously not overwhelm them, but don't you don't want their work to be boring. You don't want them to sit behind their desk going, it's like this sucks so bad, right? Um, let's see, give them, like I said, regular meetings. Okay, finally, HIPAA, privacy, all that stuff. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. I have no clue, but I would assume that whatever is true in your state, or if you hire someone in person, would also be true for hiring someone virtually. There is somebody where I'm going to put a link in, or I have Abby, I think, help me with this. Put a link in the comments for somebody that Leslie recommends for legal stuff, for your contracts, for all that stuff. You want to have a rock solid contract. You want to have a non-disclosure agreement. A lot of my clients have me assign a non-compete, meaning like I work for Leslie. Leslie is a coach for health professionals. I will not work with anybody else who is a coach for health professionals. Okay. I might work with somebody else who is a service provider, who is a health professional themselves, but not a coach. I'm not going to work for two different people who are competing against each other. It's just whatever. And a non disclosure agreement is pretty normal. Your contract can be as detailed or as general as you want, but in general, it's just, how you're going to pay them, what you expect, when you expect them to be available, what their turnaround times are, how you prefer to communicate, whether that's Slack or email, your project management. So that's going to be like Trello or ClickUp is another one. There's a bunch. FreeCamp is one that I like a lot. So anyhow, you want to have all of those things laid out. Get legally covered affiliate link. Yes, that's what it is. So Leslie just commented It's get legally covered, and she just put the link. Perfect. Thank you, Leslie. I knew there was somebody. I knew you had somebody that you recommend, and that is somebody that actually does some of the master classes and Leslie's some of her coaching programs. So she's legit for sure. And finally, I will open it up for any questions if anybody has any questions. And while I am asking that, I also have a link that you can go to. It's leslievitel.com/team. Okay. I want you to go to Leslie Vitel. Oh, nice. So the legal help, get legally covered. There's a 40% off sale in November. That's pretty sweet. So if you are looking to hire somebody, definitely get your legal affairs in order. So go to leslievitel.com/team for the list of all of the Facebook groups. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. I hope. Share screen. Let's see. Share screen. I want to share screen 1. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen. Yes. Okay. Let me make this much bigger. All right. So we're at this leslievitel.com/team. Please make a copy of this document. Okay. So this, you can't edit this. These are the links. Like, this is my personal links that I pulled out of my Google Calendar that I have. I'll just show you my Google Calendar that I use to like, I have a Google Calendar with what all of these groups post every day, so that if I want to be active in those groups, I can. But at any rate, back to this document. So I've got this broken down into categories. But at first, I want you to notice that any software that you use, like Lead Pages, ConvertKit, MailerLite, Canva, ClickFunnels, any of it, there's a Facebook group devoted to it. That's a really good place to find a service provider for that. So if you are building out your opt-in, your funnel, and you're using Lead Pages, go in the Lead Pages group. There are people who that's all they do is Lead Pages. You can find some really good people. So the very first category I have here is virtual assistants and general help. So some of these people are actually like virtual assistants, like the kind of people who will check your email, respond to messages, post on your social media for you, that sort of thing. And then I say in general help because some of these are just entrepreneur groups, female entrepreneur groups in general. So you can find a wide range of skill sets in these groups. Another one is copywriters. So if you're looking for somebody to be a ghost blogger for you, to write your social media captions, to help you with, emails, sales pages, your whole website, there's copywriter groups right here. And if you're struggling with copy and you want to learn how to do it yourself, by the way, Leslie does have a copywriting course that's pretty awesome. Eileen is asking, are you familiar with certain states not allowing a non-compete? To be honest with you, I am not sure. I have never had a problem signing a non-compete. Like, I don't think that that's on a state level. I think that's just a person-to-person, business-to-business contract, because I'm my own business and the people who hire me are their own business. So if somebody balks at signing a non-compete, you don't want them anyway. They're going to be hired. They want your competitors to hire them. So that's a red flag for me. If they're not willing to sign that, big red flag. Okay, next. So we got copywriters. Next is social media managers. These are people who specialize in social media management. So if that's where you struggle, whether it's your strategy, whether it's the content, whether it's the graphic design aspect of social media, these groups specialize in that. Some of these groups you'll see are actually in multiple categories, like freelancing films. They're freelance copywriters, freelance social media managers, et cetera, et cetera. But I still put them in every group just in case you want to scroll to exactly what you're looking for. Next is closers and sales calls. So if you have a high ticket funnel and you need someone to help you sign on your clients, if you're at that level, there are people who actually do that. They take a percentage. Generally, it's 10 to 20%. So if you're selling a $2,000 course, they would make $200 every time that they got a sale for you. So you can get closers if that's all they do. Graphic design and video editing, again, freelancing film, um, and the Freedom Business Network. And also in the regular virtual assistants groups, you can a lot of times find graphic designers who are at like the Canva or PicMonkey level, not necessarily at like print materials or logos, but you never know until you look around and ask. Web design and SEO, here's some more. And then sales funnels themselves. There are people who specialize just in sales funnels. So when you are in these groups, let me go to Facebook and show you how you want to. I'm just going to go to this group right here. This is, of course, one of Leslie's groups. And you want to click on this little search icon and search for whatever you're hiring for. If you're hiring for a copywriter, type in copywriter. Now, obviously not in this group, but the groups that I just recommended you to, Leslie is not a member of all these groups. I am, but Leslie is not. So if you just search for copywriter, you can actually find posts all about a copywriter. And that's all you do. Whatever you're looking for, go to those groups and do a search and find your people. And then again, reach out, follow, like stalk them a little bit, find out what they're all about, look at their Instagram, look at their YouTube, look at whatever, their TikToks, and really get to know who they are before you try to hire them. Excuse me. So that's all I have prepared for today. Does anybody have any other questions that haven't been brought up already? Again, go to lesliebytel.com/team for that whole comprehensive list of Facebook groups that I put together for you. Like that's literally, that's my own list. I'm sharing with you all my secrets. All right, so I am looking at the chat. I'm not seeing any other questions. All right, so again, check that link. It's that Leslie put for the, what is it called? Get Legally Covered. Thank you. Awesome, Amy. I'm so glad that you like that. That list is really a gold mine. Like that's where I find whenever I was in my hustle phase of my business is where I found all my clients, because that's where the good people are. I'm telling you, the service providers are in these groups. Thank you, Pamela, for showing up. If you have any other questions, go ahead. If I missed it, go ahead and drop the question in. I will be checking the notifications throughout the rest of the day. And thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you, Leslie, for allowing me to fill in for you while you're on the road. I know you're in the chat. It really is an honor, and I love being on Leslie's team. Leslie treats her people right. So if you take any of her courses, you'll know that she really values us as a team, and she lets us know it. And I love working for her. So anyway, thank you guys. Bye-bye.